Hello, bestie. Let's talk. Maddy Perez is not confident. Girl, if there's one thing Euphoria made us believe, it's that Maddy Perez is the definition of a confident woman. She walks like she owns the world, always looks flawless, has that sharp gaze, and seems like nothing can shake the powerful aura she carries. But is that really confidence? Or is it just a very well-crafted facade? The truth is, Maddy represents that superficial idea of confidence that so many women try to follow, always looking perfect, seeming untouchable and never showing weakness. But when we take a closer look, we realize that deep down she's actually insecure. I love Maddy, I really do. She's such a well-written and interesting character, but let's be real. So if you're ready for a mental, physical, and spiritual glow-up, go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a thing. Of course, this doesn't mean she's not confident at all, but overall, she's not truly self-confident. And this is where an important point comes in. There's a huge difference between having real self-confidence and just maintaining the appearance of it. And Maddy is the perfect example of this false security. She makes a point of showing the world that she's untouchable, but in reality, she acts completely differently from what she portrays. Deep down, her decisions reveal a lot of insecurity, especially in relationships because, let's be honest, if she were truly as confident as she seems, she would never, I repeat, never have gone through everything she did with Nate Jacobs. But girl, there is something we can learn from Maddy, and that's what we're going to talk about today. What Maddy Perez's false self-confidence teaches us, and most importantly, how you can use this knowledge to build real confidence, not just the appearance of it. Like I said, the biggest example of this is her relationship with Nate. If Maddy were truly confident and fully aware of her own worth, she would never accept a guy who treats her so badly. But instead of walking away, she stays, goes back, and keeps putting herself in situations where she's constantly humiliated and diminished. And you know why? Because deep down, she's afraid of not being wanted, afraid of not being enough. If she truly believed in her own worth, she would walk away from anyone who treated her as less than she deserves. But she doesn't do that. And that shows that her confidence is fragile, built on external validation rather than real inner security. A truly confident woman doesn't beg for love, doesn't accept less than she deserves, and knows when to walk away. And Maddy clearly doesn't. Another thing that gives away her false confidence is her constant need for validation. She wants to feel desired all the time, needs to feel like she's in control of every situation, and does everything to seem unattainable. But the moment something threatens that image, she loses it. So many times in the show, we see her being rude and aggressive. Real confidence doesn't need to be loud. A truly secure woman doesn't have to make a scene to be respected. The truth is, confidence is quiet and insecurity is loud. Maddy has power in her presence, but emotionally, she still depends way too much on other people's opinions to feel good about herself. And this proves that real confidence doesn't just come from how you look or how you carry yourself. It comes from the decisions you make, how you treat yourself, and most importantly, what you accept and what you don't accept in your wife. Maddy might have the aesthetic of a confident woman, but at the end of the day, her choices show otherwise. And that's why we need to learn how to tell the difference between a confident appearance and real confidence. Because just looking the part is not enough. Now, what can we learn from this? We already know that if there's one thing Maddy teaches us, it's that real confidence isn't measured by appearance or the way you talk. She shows us that you can have a powerful stare, a walk full of attitude, and a sharp way with words. But if deep down you still don't believe in your own worth, all of that crumbles the moment something goes wrong. And that's exactly why so many women get frustrated when they try to seem confident without actually building real confidence. The first lesson here is that confidence cannot depend on other people. If you only feel good when someone validates your beauty, your personality, or your presence, then that confidence isn't yours, it belongs to others. And anyone can take it away from you at any moment. True self-confidence has to come from within, and that's why it's called self-confidence. It's about trusting yourself. It's about looking in the mirror and knowing that you are amazing, no matter what anyone else says. It's about knowing you deserve respect and never accepting anything less. Another important thing is that your choices say more about your confidence than your posture or your tone of voice. Maddy carries herself like an unshakable woman, but her actions show insecurity. And that's exactly what we need to avoid. If you want to be truly confident, you need to act like someone who loves herself, say no to what doesn't serve you. Leave toxic cycles and put yourself first. Always. And finally, the biggest lesson from all of this is that building real self-confidence is an internal process, not an external trick. Yes, you can and should dress well, walk with posture, and speak with confidence. But none of that will matter if you don't do the inner work of truly believing that you deserve the best. So instead of just looking confident, why not actually be confident? And how do you do that? Have you ever heard that phrase? Fake it till you make it? That's the concept behind fake until you make it. And even though a lot of people misunderstand it, the idea behind it can be extremely powerful if used the right way. It doesn't mean being fake or living a lie, but rather embodying the most confident version of yourself until it becomes natural. After all, the way you act directly affects how you feel and how others see you. Think about it like this: if you always see yourself as an insecure person, shrink yourself, avoid eye contact, and speak softly, your brain will keep reinforcing that identity. But if you decide to act like someone confident, standing tall, speaking firmly, and carrying yourself in a more secure way, your mind starts adapting to that new reality. And the more you practice, the more natural it becomes, until one day you actually feel that way. The key is to use this to your advantage in a smart way. It's not enough to just fake confidence while, deep down, you're still doubting yourself and putting yourself in situations that don't serve you. The trick is to combine this behavior change with real actions that boost your self-esteem, keeping promises to yourself, prioritizing yourself, taking care of your image, and surrounding yourself with situations that make you feel good. That way, you're not just pretending, you're actually building confidence from the inside out. So instead of waiting to feel confident before acting like a secure woman, do the opposite act as if you already are that version of yourself. Because the truth is, when you start behaving that way, your brain and body will follow. And that's how little by little, you stop pretending and actually become it. Don't put yourself in situations that don't serve you. Girl, a truly confident woman doesn't put herself in situations that drain her, make her feel small, or add nothing positive to her life. And this is exactly where Maddy completely loses herself. She has a strong image, but she keeps putting herself in situations that hurt her, especially when it comes to her relationship with Nate. Every time she goes back to him, even knowing he's an abusive guy, she's reinforcing to herself that she doesn't deserve better. And this isn't just about romantic relationships. How many times have you stayed in an environment where you weren't valued? Or held on to a friendship that only drained your energy? Confident women don't accept less than they deserve because they know that every choice they make reflects the self-love they have. If you keep putting yourself in situations that hurt you, deep down, you're telling yourself that you don't deserve better. And that's something that needs to change. Maddy, as much as she has this powerful woman image, keeps going back to the same cycle of suffering because she doesn't believe there's something greater for her. But the truth is, there is both for her and for you. But to access that, you have to be brave enough to walk away from what harms you. Is it uncomfortable? Yes, but respecting yourself requires tough choices. By the way, I've already made a video about relationships and toxic guys. I'll leave it in the card or the description, and girl, I highly recommend you watch it. What do you think is the biggest thing that keeps women from leaving relationships or situations that aren't good for them? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Now, back to it. Stop romanticizing stories that hurt you. Start noticing where you're putting yourself, and more importantly, why. If a situation makes you feel like you're less than you really are, that's your answer. You shouldn't be there. A confident woman doesn't settle for less than she deserves. And neither should you, honey. Don't humiliate yourself for relationships, friendships, or any situation, and this applies to everything: relationships, friendships, work. In any area of life, if you have to beg for someone to see you or treat you the way you deserve, then that person simply isn't for you. Maddy, even with all that confident woman energy, stays in a relationship where she constantly has to prove herself. And the truth is, that just shows insecurity. Because a woman who fully knows her worth walks away before it ever gets to that point. The worst thing you can do for your self-esteem is to put yourself in situations that make you feel small. There's nothing romantic about humiliating yourself for someone. There's nothing empowering about chasing people who don't value you. Real power is knowing when to hold your head high and walk away from what doesn't serve you. So if you feel like you're always trying to prove yourself to someone, stop and think, are they really worth all that effort? Because deep down, if someone needs to be convinced of your worth, you don't deserve a place in your life. Heavy on knowing you deserve more, Maddy's biggest mistake is that, despite all the confidence she shows, she doesn't actually believe she deserves something better. If she did, she wouldn't have stayed stuck in that toxic relationship for so long. And this is one of the most important lessons for any woman: you always deserve more than what makes you suffer. That doesn't mean you should be arrogant or act like you're better than everyone else. It just means you need to treat yourself with respect and allow yourself to receive better things. So many women settle for crumbs because, deep down, they think that's the best they can get. But that mindset keeps you trapped in cycles that only hurt you. And that's exactly what happened with Maddy. She probably didn't watch my video on pedestal mindset. But you can all leave it in the description. If you really believe you deserve more, you need to act like it. That means saying no to what doesn't serve you, walking away from situations that aren't good for you, and making room for better things to come into your life. The problem is, we're often so focused on the fear of losing what we already have that we don't realize something much better is waiting for us on the other side of letting go. Drop a comment if you've ever been stuck in a situation you knew wasn't good for you and how you handled it. You might help someone else get out of it too. Bestie, at the end of the day, Maddy Perez shows us that just looking confident isn't enough. She has the attitude, the energy, and the aesthetics of confidence, but her actions reveal deep insecurity. And that's what we need to understand. Real confidence isn't about how you dress or how others see you, but about how you treat yourself and what you allow in your life. The good news? Unlike Maddy, you can build real confidence. You can learn to truly trust yourself, put yourself first, and stop depending on other people's validation to feel good. And if it feels hard at first, that's okay. Because confidence doesn't just appear out of nowhere, it's built step by step. And the more you see yourself as a confident woman, the more you become one. The key is to never stop investing in yourself. You deserve to feel amazing, not because others say so, but because you know you are. That's it, love you.